I've been thinking a lot about fields lately. There are, in the Irish language, 32 different words for field, by Manchán Magan's count. And it reminds me that unless you have a word for something, it's hard to see that thing in your environment. It's hard to differentiate between different iterations. Myself and Katie have moved to a new part of Clare, and every day, roughly once or twice, I take the dog for a walk through the fields behind the house here. And when you do the same thing over and over and over again, you start to, really appreciate the differences between the different little patches of land, We know where the cattle graze and the sheep graze, we know the boggy ones and the dry ones and the hilly ones. We know what kind of plants grow in the hedgerows. And if you can hear that howling, that's the dog in question, Blarney, who obviously wants to be part of the video. It's okay, Blarney. It's okay. So, it really reminded me about the way Chinese medicine is practiced. Because, each one of these fields is a little unique little ecosystem. You can call them all fields, but they're all little worlds, To take an example. If you wanted to drain a field, if you've got this field that's boggy and mucky and, it's no good for you. You can't do what you wanted to do, and you want to drain the moisture out of it. Well, the kind of Western thinking, Western medicine approach might be like, okay, we'll do an analysis of 5,000 fields and we'll find out the best way to do this. Say we're going to put a drainage pipe in. Well, we analyse drainage pipes in 5,000 fields and, we find the best position and we smack it in all of them. And you might ask, well, what do you mean by 5,000 fields? What size are they? Where are they? What's growing in them? What are they being used for? And it would be like, nah, just 5,000 fields. Don't worry about it. So they decide that a certain area, X, is the best place to put this drainage pipe. And they go, right, we've got the best technology for, the pipe itself. It's super long lasting, facilitates water flow really well. It'll drain your field like that, And we have the best technology for inserting the pipe. We've got this big machine, it just goes in and smacks the thing right in there. And you're like, okay, does that kind of churn up does it damage the field? And, oh yeah, it messes it up completely, goes in there, churns up the earth, smacks it in, but it'll get you there, it'll dry your field out. You're like, all right. The Chinese medicine way would be to look at every field. You look at the contours of the land, you look at, for example, where the water might be pooling. Some places might pool to the middle, some might slope down, some might have a stream running through them, and then you work with the natural lay of the land to facilitate it. You work with the environment. So if it's boggy in the middle, well, you might plant some rushes or reeds there that soak up some of the moisture. If there's an existing stream, you might put a couple of drainage ditches feeding into it. If there's a slope going down, you might use some extra rocks for percolation to facilitate that. Or you could go back even further, if the field's all mucky and muddy, then you're like, well, maybe don't graze your cattle here. Or if the trees are growing too tall, well, maybe cut them out so there's a bit more sunlight, dries it out. Every field is different. The problem is the same for all of them. It's a boggy field that you need to drain. But every field is different, and every approach is different as well. And when people come to me saying things like, I have endometriosis, or I have, Crohn's, or, I have a herniated disc, it's like somebody saying to me, I have a field. Those labels are sometimes so broad as to be meaningless, at least in the way that I and most Chinese medicine practitioners work. The other thing to remember about these boggy fields is that, people often talk about health being in balance and out of balance. A boggy field isn't out of balance. It's just not doing what you want it to do, but it's fine, A lot of the times when our bodies play up, they're not, it isn't always that they're out of balance. Sometimes they found a new balance. Sometimes they're reacting to something in the environment or internally, and they're just finding this new balance through that. And it might not be a balance we like, but this kind of constant drive towards perfection and balance, it's not based on anything that really occurs in nature. And it can lead to people being kind of self-critical about themselves and their bodies, or their minds, their problems. That's not very useful either. Just be kind, enjoy the fields. So I'm going to be trying to make a few more videos. It's been a while, and I decided I'd come back with something very nonsensical and metaphysical, really to really capture the algorithm. But I'll be trying to do a few more, and I hope this is of interest. Better get back to Blarney.